Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Shamimi Kaisara binti Mustafa Kamal and my matrix number is 2021819248. Today, I will present about the group project and explain the question 1A. The first one is cost allocation. The cost allocation is already provided by the questions and we only need to find apportionment and reapportionment only. So, we go through the apportionment. Firstly, we need to identify the basis first. For example, for rent and rates, the basis is the floor area. So, to find the apportionment for the assembly, we need to take the value from the basis, which is 15,000, divided by the total basis, which is 50,000. Then multiply the total budgeted overhead, which is 80,000 ringgit. And the same goes for the calculation of other departments and basis. Each basis value needs to be divided by the total basis and needs to be multiplied by the total of budgeted overhead that has been provided in the question table. After that, we need to add all the values for each department to know the subtotal for apportionment. Next, we go to the reapportionment. For this calculation, we count services cost centers only, which are canteen and store. First of all, we have to list every basis for canteen and store. After that, we start by taking the canteen subtotal from the apportionment calculation earlier. We need to take the basis value. For example, the basis for the canteen is number of employment. So, in the question table, we need to take the basis value for all available departments. First, for the assembly, we need to divide 20 by 40. Why only 40 people? It is because we want to calculate for the canteen. So, the basis value for the canteen doesn't need to be taken. After dividing, we need to multiply by the subtotal apportionment earlier, which is 23,828 ringgit 12 cents. The same goes for the next departments, but for the canteen, no need to calculate because as I said before, we already calculate for the canteen, so the value has been divided in the canteen. After we calculate the last department, which is the store, the answer needs to be added with the store subtotal from the apportionment, which is 22,295 ringgit 74 cents. The amount becomes 25,274 and 26 cents. And just like the canteen, we need to know the basis of store, which is the number of material. We need to divide the basis value of 800 by the total of 3,100 and multiply by 25,274 and 26 cents. This calculation will be repeated until we get the final answer, which is 0 or a value that can no longer be divided for each department. After that, we need to add the value of the canteen and store for each department to know their total.
Assalamualaikum Doctor, I'm Nunisa binti Azmi. My number matrix is 2021879672. For question 1B, I will explain the calculation for the assembly, machining and finishing. The formula is overhead absorption rate equals total budgeted overhead divided by machine hours for the assembly and machining. And for the finishing, we use direct labor hours. So we go to assembly. The calculation is 123,212.71 ringgit divide 2,000 ringgit. The result is 61.61 ringgit. For calculation for the machining is 134,785.92 ringgit divide 1,550 ringgit. The result is 86.96 ringgit. And the last one for the calculation for the finishing is 83,501.17 ringgit divide 650 ringgit. The result is 128.46 ringgit. For question 1C, I will explain the calculation for the assembly, machining and finishing. The formula is overhead absorption rate multiplied actual number of bases. Next, write actual overhead for the three modes that get from table question 1C. Next, answer for OAR multiply actual number of bases minus actual overhead. Next, we determine whether over and under for the answer that we get. Over is positive and under is negative. So we go to assembly. The calculation is 61.61 ringgit multiply 1020 machine hours equals 62842.2. 1020 we get from the table on question 1C. Net actual overhead is 207,000. 207,000 ringgit we get from the table on question 1C. Net 62842.2 minus 207,000. The result is 144,157.8 and it is negative, so the answer is under. For calculation for the machining is 86.96 ringgit multiplied 2,300 machine hours equal 200,008. 2,300 we get from the table on question 1C. Next actual overhead is 1,62350 ringgit. 1,62350 ringgit we get from the table on question 1C. Next 200,008 minus 1,62350 ringgit. The result is 37658 and it is positive, so the answer is over. For calculation for the finishing is 128.46 multiply 750 direct labor hours equal 96,345. 750 we get from the table on question 1C. Next actual overhead is 178,400. 178,400 we get from the table on question 1C. Next 96,345 minus 178,400. The result is 82,055 and it is negative, so the answer is under.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Hazika binti Abdul Aziz and my matrix number is 2021811932. So today I would like to explain about the answer for question number 2A. The formula to find the overhead cost per unit, we need to find the OAR first. So the formula OAR is total overhead over basis. The total overhead in question 2 is we need to sum up the machine setup cost, machine running cost, procurement cost, and delivery cost. So, 26,550 ringgit plus with 66,400 ringgit plus with 48,000 ringgit plus with 54,320 ringgit. So, the total is 195,270 ringgit. After that, we divide it with the basis, which we get it from the total of the production and sales multiple with the direct labor hours per unit. So in bracket, 0.1 multiple with 15,000 plus in bracket 0.15 multiple with 12,000 plus in bracket 0.2 multiple with 18,000 and then 195,270 ringgit must divided with 6,900 ringgit. And the answer for OAR is 28 ringgit and 30 cents. After that, to find the production cost per unit using traditional absorption costing, we need to find the total of the direct material, direct labor, and overhead. The direct material we get from the total of production and sales for each product, which Spike A, Spike B, and Spike C, divided with the raw material usage kilogram per unit for each product. So for Spike A, 15,000 over 2 kilogram, and the answer is 7,500 ringgit. For Spike B, 12,000 over 3 kilogram, the answer is 4,000 ringgit. And for Spike C, 18,000 over 4 kilogram, and the answer is 4,500 ringgit. And then, we need to find direct labor for Spike A, Spike B, and Spike C. The formula is the production and sales for each product multiple with direct labor hours per unit, which we get it in basis that I explained just now. So for Spike A, 15,000 multiple with 0.1, the answer is 1,500 ringgit. For Spike B, 12,000 multiple with 0.15, and the answer is 1,800 ringgit. And lastly, for Spike C, 18,000 multiple with 0.2, the answer is 3,600 ringgit. And And then we find the overhead for spike A, spike B, and spike C. The formula is the total OAR need to multiple with direct labor hours per unit, which for spike A, 28 ringgit 30 cents multiple with 0.1, the answer is 2 ringgit and 83 cents. For spike B, 28 ringgit 30 cents multiple with 0.15, and the answer is 4 ringgit and 25 cents. Lastly, spike C, 28 ringgit 30 cents multiple with 0.2, we got the answer is 5 ringgit and 66 cents. After we calculate these three elements, which are direct material, direct labor, and overhead, we need to total out these three elements. So the production cost per unit of spike A is 9,002 ringgit 83 cents, while for spike B, the total is 5,804 ringgit 25 cents. And lastly, the total overhead cost per unit for spike C is 8,105 ringgit 66 cents. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum Doctor. My name is Putri Asmi Fatihah binti Malik Muhammad and my matrix number is 202189629. Total CD formation setup cost will total up numbers of production runs per annum for spike A, B, and C. For total CD formation running cost will total up machine hours per unit for spike A, B, and C. And total CD for procurement cost will total up number of purchase order per annum for spike A, B, and C. Next, total CD for delivery cost will total up numbers of deliveries to retailers per annum for spike A, B, and C. Next, for cost driver rate for machine setup cost, total cost for machine setup cost divided by 36, which is total CD for machine setup cost. Next, cost driver rate for machines running cost, total cost for machines running cost divided by total CD for machines running cost. Next, for procurement cost, cost driver is procurement cost, total of procurement cost divided by total CD for procurement cost. Lastly, delivery cost. The cost driver rate for delivery cost is total cost for delivery cost divided by total CD for delivery cost. Each total for spike A, B, and C for machine setup cost. I take numbers of production runs per annum divided by cost driver rate for machine setup cost. Next, each total for spike A, B, and C for machines running cost. I take machines hour per units for each spike divided by cost driver rate for machines running cost. Each total for spike A, B, and C for procurement cost. I take numbers of purchases order per annum for each spike divided by cost driver rates for procurement costs. Lastly, each total for spike A, B, and C for delivery costs. I take numbers of purchases order per annum for each spike divided by cost driver rates for delivery costs.